About 14 years ago, Margaret and I spent the day hiking up these very hills. We drove home. It was about a 2-hour drive. We turned onto our street, and I saw this little old lady who lived across from us wandering around in the middle of the street. She was about 95 at the time and was known to slip out of the house unattended from time to time. She lived there with her son Edgar and his family. They were nice folks. His wife Rosemary and Margaret used to chat, share recipes, that sort of thing. Well, anyway, I saw her just wandering around. So after I parked, I walked over to help her get back home. I extended my arm and she took it. She seemed to have more pep than usual, pulling me along about as fast as a 95-year-old could go. I got her to the door and figured that was the end of it. But she kept pulling. I figured I'd walk her all the way in, being that Edgar was a friend, and I'd been in his house 100 times before. She began leading me up the hallway, and I could hear the shower running. I figured Rosemary was in there showering, and that was probably how the old gal had the chance to cut out. The last thing I wanted to do was accidentally see Rosemary in an indecent state. That's the sort of thing that can change friendly relationships for the worse. So I gently pulled my arm away and walked out of the house. When I got back to my place, I felt a bit unsettled. I told Margaret about it, and she figured it was best that I had left too. Still curious, I looked out the front window and saw that Edgar's mom was looking out of her front window too. About an hour and a half later, I noticed that Edgar had arrived. I wanted to tell him about what happened, so I grabbed my shoes and started to head out. I had to pass the front window again to get to the door, and I noticed that EMS was there, along with several police cars. I saw that Edgar was distraught and speaking with a police officer, so I didn't walk over. I found out the next day from another one of our neighbors, Dorsey, that Rosemary had a seizure and fell in the shower. Her head opened up when she hit the tiles and bled to death.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, indeed, Caleb. An hour and a half of bleeding that I could have stopped if only I had let the old lady guide me to Rosemary.
You couldn't have known, Pastor Hausmann.
Oh, I know it. I've made my peace with the incident. I just can't help but think of it now that I'm out here again. Bill Ross.